Here also what we are doing, the float budding is similar to the ring budding. The small portion of the bark is not completely removed. But in ring budding, what we are doing, we are removing the whole portion of the bark as the ring. But here in float budding, we are removing but leaving the small portion of the bark in the removed portion. That due to that, it is called as float budding. Forked budding also similar to the float. So then skin budding, this is very useful in citrus. We can do that in any season because this is why we are doing. If the bark is not peel off easily, then in that case we can go for the skin budding. Then micro budding also similar to the tea budding, but here what we are using very tiny, thin buds. Then top working also we studied. So this is the thing we studied in the budding and what are the methods available. Then today we will start with the layering. So this is one kind of vegetative propagation we are using commonly in flexible branches, as well as it can be done in two ways. The main thing here we have to consider is while doing the layering, we are not taking any piece of stem or the branch, we are not taking. While this stem is attached with the parent plants, we are doing this process by doing girdling. That means removal of the bark we are doing. Then that girdle portion, what we are doing, we are keeping the growing media, whether it may be good topsoil or the combination of compost topsoil or the cattle manure topsoil, we can mix together as the growing media. In girdle portion, we have to put roundly that growing media and tie up with the put the cover of the polythene. Then both sides we have to do the tie-up. So that is one type of layering we are doing. It is normally done in the plants if you want to propagate with a big size, because in layering we can do wherever the stem available with based on our need of the plant height, we can do the layering there. So that layering I mentioned is called as air layering, because girdling and doing the putting the growing media on the girdle portion by covering the polythene and tie up the both sides, that is called as the air layering. Then ground layering also possible if the branches of the plant is very flexible. So we lie down that branches on the ground level and make some cuts and put not the completely cut, small cut, and put the soil on that. So from the cut, because we know if we make the wounds, it is from the callus and then root initials develop. So it is developed as the individual plant. So in that way, we can get the plants. That method of propagation, we are calling that as ground layering. So the layering is the propagation method where a wound stem is encouraged to root in the soil or any growing media while these are attached with the parent plant. That is the main thing we have to consider. Then layering also attached having some advantages, especially Here, the parent plant supply the nutrient to the new individual, water and food, particularly carbohydrate, protein, and hormones. Among the hormones, oxide, until this plant make the roots and produce their own assimilate. So this is the method we are doing to propagate the plants, but this is we are not separating the branches. Even based on our need, bigger plants also can be obtained, because in grafting or the budding, certain size plant only we can get. But if you want to get the bigger plants, we have to grow it in the nursery for a longer period. But here, especially in air layering, we can select the branch and we are doing the girdling then. So based on our plant size need, we can select the stem even from the top of the tip of the plant to even the 75 centimeter below that branch, we can select and do the layering. And if the new plants develop, we can obtain the plants with the 75 centimeter height. So that is possible. So bigger plants can be produced in the layering. Then we can avoid the mutagenic effects, even certain species. Especially this is happening if you propagate it through the cuttings. And also we can possible to generate few plants of important species with a minimum propagation facilities also there. Even difficulty rooted plants can be propagated through this air layering. This is the best method of propagation. Even the plant is having the ability to produce the roots naturally. So that case, simply we can produce the plants in large numbers. In addition to that, even we can produce the plants within the short time, because if you do the layering, air layering, so within the 2 weeks, we can able to see 2-3 weeks, depending on the plant, because some plants produce the roots quickly, some need some more time, because if we tried for the hybrid varieties of the shoe flower, so nearly 40 days the plant needed to produce the roots. So that research also we did with a different growing media if we utilized. So then different size of girdling, the 1 inch or 1.5 inch, or how it root development, all this study we did last year for the final year research. So that is also a good study. So we can produce the plant in short time, because bigger plants we can get it even in the 1 month, some varieties, so the species. Sorry, this is the useful method. And very easy, because we does not require much facility, because just we have to give the water. Some disadvantages also there, because it is difficult to produce large number of plants through this method, because we can produce the big plant, but the amount we produce is certain limited, because we have to select the branch and do the layering. Then after rooting, we have to cut off. So compared to the cuttings, this method, we can produce certain limited number of plants. In another disadvantage, mainly, it is labor consuming, because we have to do the girdling and putting the growing media, then wrapped with the polythene, then tie up this. So labor intensive also there. So it is involve little cost, and in some some cases, if the plant produce while doing the layering, very small and brittle roots produce, so that plants, even after forming the roots, establishing that plant is difficult, so not suitable for all the plant species. Then mortality rate also, compared to the other methods, some cases it is high. So then we will see what are the factors that can influence the success of layering. That case, the first we have to look into about the stem treatment, because because mainly the two types of layering we are having. I already mentioned air layering, ground layering. So in ground layering, the bending of the shoot, then we can make small cut, or even in the bending shoot, we can do the girdling or wound we are making on that. Then we are put that branch on the ground level. Then we put the growing media and allow them to produce the root. After forming the root and the shoot, then only we are detaching from the mother plant. So the stem, we have to give some treatment like notching or the girdling or wound. We are making the injury, and we are treating with some girdle portion. If we apply some hormone, so that also promote the formation of the callus and the successful. Here you can see this is the portion girdle. So the bark removed. So we can, after removing the bark, we are removing of the bark process, we are calling that as girdling. So after girdling, so what we are doing, here the girdle portion, we are putting the growing media. So depending on the country or the region, so we can use the different growing media. So here in Sri Lanka, we are using topsoil or the topsoil with compost. But in temperate country, they use the moss. So as the growing media, wrap the girdle portion, cover the girdle portion. Then they tie up with the plastic or polythene sheet in both sides, and they are alive. So in this way we are doing, these are some example for the air layer. Then this picture is example for the ground layer, because here the flexible branch, we are bending that, make the notch or small cut here, and pecking also, because otherwise it will raise up. So to avoid that, do the pecking and put the soil on that. So this portion is able to develop as the new plant. Then we can make the cut here and get the plant. Similar to that, this is the simple ground layer. Then etiolation treatment, because we have to cover up. So even some cases, we have to avoid the light penetration to the stem. So then this process, because here we are covering with the black polythene, so the light can't go inside. So it can promote the root growth. So this is the case we are calling etiolization treatment also doing. But normally we are using the transparent polythene, because in that case, if the roots develop, be able to see that. So, but if we use the black polythene, that is favorable for the root formation. Anyhow, the normal practice, we are using the transparent polythene. Why we are doing that? because if the roots develop, we can simply observe outside by not removing or remove the tie up we made and have a look. So the outside also we able to see the roots. So in that case, so that this picture, they use the polythene transparent one, so we able to see the roots here. But etiolation treatment normally they are doing to promote the root, giving some dark condition. Then physiological condition of the mother plant. So this is also very important, because if the mother plant is healthy and bigger, so it can promote the root growth, root initiation quickly compared to the weaker ones. Then rejuvenation of the stock plant, because some type of layering we are doing in the ground layering. There are several types available: tip layering, simple layering, tip layering, trench layering, mound layering, like that. So in trench layering, so what we are doing in the trench, we are placing the flexible branch. So that case, if you want to produce the new shoot growth, so this selection of the rootstock to make the layering, that can influence. So it is always advisable to do the layering in the juvenile shoot rather than the mature one, because mature one is because the success rate from the mature one is less compared to the juvenile one. Why the juvenile one, young one, is giving shoots better? Because the hormones, the assimilates, all of these things mostly available in the young parts. Then treatment with the growth regulators. So if we make the wound and treat the wounded portion with the hormone auxin, so that can promote the root growth. So that's why I already mentioned in the layered portion, girdle portion, we can treat the hormone root growth, so it can promote the root growth. Then while treating with the hormones, the concentration of the rooting hormone we are using, that is depending on the plant species and which method of layering we are doing, and also the age of the plant and environmental conditions. So the concentration we are using, that is depending on these factors like plant species, method of layering we are doing, age of the shoot, and the environmental condition. The other factor, nutrition. The stem remains attached to the plant even during the process of layering and rooting. So the nutrient and water continuously supplied through the parent plant. So the supply of nutrient to the parent also important in this case. Then environmental condition also influencing the success, especially the relative humidity, the available temperature and relative humidity. Both components play a major role on the success of the layering. So these are some environmental factors that can influence. So under the environmental factors, they are giving the stem treatment, etiolation treatment, physiological condition of the mother plant. So whether it is in the healthy condition or the weak condition, then rejuvenation of the rootstock, that case the young part we can utilize more compared to the mature one. Treatment of the girdle portion and the layering portion, the nutrient supply and the environmental condition, that is playing a major role. So that is regarding what is layering. So in what are the problem we able to see, or the factors affecting the success of the layering or influencing the layering. Then what are the types or the methods of layering? I already mentioned there are two types of layering or methods of layering available. So one is air layering, the one is ground layering. Air layering we are doing above the ground, and the ground layering we are doing that on the ground or little below the ground. So this is the picture for the air layering and how roots develop. You can see, because while roots develop, not develop from the bottom. This portion, from the top portion, roots develop. Why? The source of the plant, that is leaves, found above this canopy. So the assimilate translocated will be discontinued because we remove the bark. So this can accumulate here. Then it undergoes to divisions and promote the root initials to develop. Not if you do the air layering, definitely you able to see the roots from the above portion. So not from this one, because the root is only translocate water and nutrient to the plant. The assimilate which is produced through the photosynthesis from the leaf, that should be translocated to the root also for the activity. In that case, if you block that, so it is accumulated, the root additions develop from here. This is the ground layering. So here tip, we are doing the pecking and making the notching or small cut or girdling. In ground layering also, there are several methods available here. Just simple stem we are using, the simple layering. Here only the tip we are using, the tip layering. Serpentine layering means even from the one flexible branch, we can make several bends and get the individual branch. So that is the serpentine layering. Here the trench layering, so the big branch we are bending and making the peck here. So each branch, from the each branch, we can able to develop the new plant, making a trench and lie down. So this is the trench layering. The stool or the mound layering means we are making in the portion, we are putting the, we can do the girdling here or small cut here. Then we cover up with this plant with this growing media or the good topsoil. So from that, it is developed as the single individual. Then we can separate that and get it. So this is the mounding. So mound layering. Then we will see what are the steps involved in the air layering. First, what we have to do, we have to select the desirable character, healthy, vigorous shoot. Based on our need, we have to select with the proper diameter. 1 to 2 inch diameter is a good one, because that is mostly the juvenile one. And this is in the active stage, we have to select. Then we have to remove the bark in selected branch completely. 0.5 to 1 centimeter length branch we have to remove. Then after we have to clean that bark removed portion. The phloem and cambium and other portions, while removing the bark, we have to remove properly. Then girdle portion that can be treated with any growth hormone like auxin to induce rooting. After applying the hormone, we can apply the growing media, surround the girdle surface, and even in some cases we can cover with the coconut husk. out of the coconut husk, we can use the, some cases they are using only coconut husk. Because that is, rather than using the black polythene or transparent polythene, commonly if the coconut husk available to cover up the growing media, they are using them. So that is giving kind of etiolization also, even some aeration also it can give. If the husk is not available, so we can wrap with the polythene or the black polythene or transparent polythene. We can utilize and tie up with the both side by using the twine. So tie the end of the both the polythene or the husk by using the twine. And then we have to allow, because here after doing the air layering, we should think about the availability of water to that media. So some cases, even normally in AL, we studied by about the grafted portion, we can give one connection with the twine, and that twine should be about that with a small bottle with the water, like little by little it will go. So that is not possible for the large number of plants we need. So regularly we have to look into and do some watering, like because through the top tight portion, so we can do some relaxation in the tire and put some watering if needed. But most of the case, there is no need to put much because we are using the moist media and cover up that. So that will be maintained there. So most of the case, no need to put much water. Even in soft cases, we have to put some water to media for the successful root formation. So after the successful root formation, what we have to do, we have to separate or detach the new plant from the mother plant. So that case, but the process is better. The first, we have to make the half cut. That is very important. Below the rooting point, we have to make the half cut. Then leave that, and after 15 days, we can do other half cut and separate the plants. So while separating, if we follow this method, that is giving the more chance for the success. So that is regarding the air layering. So the methods of layering, so air layering and ground layering, and what are the factors affecting the layering, we look into. Then this is the ground layering. In ground layering, several types available, simple layering. Here what we are doing, so just we are bending the lower growing branches, flexible branch, and lie down on the ground and cover the part with the soil, but leaving 6 to 12 inches above the soil. So the next, I think we can see the picture. Then the tip into the vertical position, because we can give some support also, stack in a place. If we make the small cut while before covering with the soil, so that can induce the rooting, because we know if we make the wound, so cell divisions take place, callus form, then it form the finally root initials, we know. So this is the method we are doing in the simple layering. What we are doing, we are bending the branch, because why we are saying young juvenile one we have to take, not the mature. So with the tip, we are leaving 6 to 12 inches. And if we need the support, we can give the stack. So this is the method that I mentioned. Mainly jasmine and climbing roses, we can go for the simple layer. Then compound layering, similar to the simple layering. Compound layering also we can do. Here, instead of doing the one plant, producing one plant, several layering can be done, like serpentine layer. So by single stem, the several bending we can make, we can get. The serpentine layering, that is the variation of the compound. So among the compound layering, serpentine layering is the one type. Here in serpentine layering, what we are doing, stem of the vine is buried at interval with the rooting media. Certain interval we have to give. So simple layering, only the single plant we are producing from the flexible branch, but in compound layering we can produce more than that. So this is the example for the compound layering and the serpentine layering. Here the same interval we have to give between the plants, so if you want to produce, especially vines, so same interval we have to give. So this is some example. We can do it for the serpentine layering or the compound grapes, wisteria, the clematis. These are the flowering plants, so especially grown in the temperate countries. Then tip layering. So here also similar to the simple layering, but we have to dig a hole to 3 to 4 inches deep, and we have to insert the tip of the selected shoot into that and cover it with the soil. So the tip goes down at the first, then it bends sharply and come above the ground, because the shoot portion come up now, so then only it can do the photosynthesis. So then after the bending, so the root form from at the bend portion. So we can separate that and get the new plant. Here, what we are doing, even I can show the tip layering picture here properly. Here, tip layering, what we are doing, we are making 2 to 3 inch depth and inserting the tip of the branch. Then it is, first it is going down, then turn up, so then bend up, so it is going down, then bend up. So that case, the root form here. So that is the tip layer. So here also, first it goes down, then it's coming up. So the root is formed here in the covered portion. So this tip layering, especially purple raspberry, black raspberry, and trailing blackberries. So this type of tip layering we can do. Then other method is the trench layering. So what we are doing, we are making the shallow trench in a horizontal position and lie down the shoot and covered with the soil and the rooting media. Then root layers separate from the mother plant after forming the successful shoot. So what we are making, the lie down the plant. So by making the peck lie down and cover with the soil. So after this one. So cover with, then it is started to develop the shoots. So we can separate that. The woody trees like apple pears, we can go for the trench layering propagation. Then other method is the mount or the stool layering. So here what we are doing, we even in the mature plants, we are mounting the plant with the soil. So then making, if you want to promote the root growth, what we have to do, small cuts we have to do, no? So making that, from that it is in a position to develop the roots. So these are some example of plants we can do the mound layering, spirea, magnolia, fins, even cotton Easter. So these are some ornamental plants. We can simply do the mound layering. Even in citrus, some cases citrus also. So here what we are doing in the stem, we are covering with the soil as the mound. From there it is producing the roots, so we can separate these plants and get it as the individual plant. Then a special category of layering also there. That is the one we are calling that as natural layering. So this is especially occurs when the branch touches the ground. It is in a position to develop the advance. So normally, naturally, if some plant is having the ability, if the branch touch the ground, simply it is forming the root. So that is the case we are saying that as natural layering. So it is connected with the parent plants and new several plants are produced. So without the assistance of the any made by the man, so it is naturally happening. So that is called as natural layering. The example we can say, even in Centrala, we able to see naturally it is going and develop the new. So if we separate, we can get the several runners like strawberry, centella, spider plant, because this is the spider plant. It is producing the long stem, and end of the stem it is having the plant. So if we touch the ground, it is developed as a new. Then we can separate and get it. Even in strawberry also, because it's producing the runner, if that touch the ground, it is developed as a new. Then we can make the cut here. In centella also that is happening. Onion, date, banana, pistia, pineapple, even centella, we can do. So that is regarding the layering. So layering, what is layering? What are the types of layering available? What are the factors influencing the layering? And among the methods of layering, the air layering is the simple one. We are doing above the ground. Ground layering, we are doing on the ground or little below the ground. In ground layering, several types available: chip layering, simple layering, compound layering, trench layering, mound layering, like that we have. I put some pictures also. That is regarding the layer. Then rest of the thing we are having is the specialized organ. Specialized organ means this is also plant part, any plant part, whether it is leaf or stem, even modified underground stem, or which is able to develop as a new plant. So in bulbs, tubers, rhizomes, homes, runners. So these are slips depending on the plant species. Different methods available, like by using the bulbs, tubers, rhizomes. I will put the slide regarding the specialized organ. Wait. So vegetative propagation by using the specialized organ. So this is the example for the rhizome. Even we can utilize the suckers, even some cases runners, slits, even bulbils, tubers, bulbs. So these are some example for that. So a specialized organ is the modified plant organ, which is having the storage of the food. So this can be utilized as the planting material. Even the aerial part of the plant die at the end of the season, and it is modified under the ground parts and remained as the dormant. And it can restart the activity. The environmental condition is favorable. So even we can produce this by separation or by division. So the separations, the bulbs, homes, example, the division, rhizomes. So these are some specialized organs like bulbs. So this is the bulbs, and this is the rhizome, and this is the tuber. Then this is tuberous root. This is suckers. Then runners, offsets, even crowns. So the top of the pineapple, we are having the crown that also can be separated and produced. This is for the home. So these are some specialized organ we can utilize. First, the sucker. So the sucker is a lateral branch that's developed from the underground part of the stem or the roots. It is raised from below the soil surface, especially in banana. Be able to see the three types of sucker: sword sucker, water sucker, and maiden sucker. Sword sucker are mainly used for the propagation because that is narrow leaf. Even in banana, how can we identify the sword sucker and the water sucker? Water sucker is having the broad leaf. Even the small plant is broad. But sword sucker is like a sword like narrow one. So that is best planting material among the three. The maiden sucker in between the sword and the water. Then bulbs. So bulbs, it is modified stem, that is resting stage of the certain seed plants, particularly perennial monocotyledon. The bulb consists relatively large globe-shaped underground bud with membranous fleshy or overlapping leaves that is arising from the short stem. So the bulbs, onion is one of the most known example. So onion, the longitudinal cut also I have placed. Because outer scale, because that is contain fleshy reserve food material for the growth. Especially example onion, hyacinth, iris and tulip. So these are some example for the plants which can be propagated through the bulbs. Then bulbils, so in after flowering, so the flower buds become modified because before the flowering, the flower buds become modified into specialized structure that is called bulbs. That is possible in the garlic. But in Dioscorea, so if the plant grows above, so we are able to see the above ground small bulbs on the above part. So even this is the example of Dioscorea. This is the flower bud modified into bulbs. That is the example for the garlic. Then tuber, the short terminal portion of the underground stem, normally we know it is having accumulated food starch. So it is able to, it is having the eye also. So from that, if the environmental is favor, it is produce the new plant from the eye. So example, potato and dahlia. Then the tuberous roots. So this is also fleshy, modified roots. So it is having the storage. So if it is also having the ability to develop as the new plant. But in tuberous root plants, instead of using the tuberous roots, even the stem cutting also can be utilized to produce. Like sweet potato, we can utilize the stem cutting to develop the new plant, or we can use the tuberous root. This is the home, the swollen base stem we are having. It is having the scale-like leaves also, nodes and internodes also there. It is consisting the bulk, large amount of food reserves. So very similar to the tubers, we can develop the new plants from Amorphallus or Colocasia. So these are some examples for the homes. The rhizome. So this is also root-like stem, grows horizontally below the soil, under the soil. It is having the new roots and the shoot from the nodes with the shoot growing upwards and forming the new plants. So ginger and turmeric are the example for the rhizome. So here you're able to see this is the plant, this is the turmeric, this is the ginger. So we able to, even in cypress we are having the rhizomes also. This is the grass, the sedge, the crown. This is also very short condensed plant part. So it is in a position after separating from the plant. If we put it for the growing, it is in a position to grow. So especially in pineapple, we are having the several type of parts like crown, slip is possible. I will show the even suckers in groundnut, ratoon suckers, and then the runner. I will put the picture in the next class properly. In runner also one kind of propagation by using the specialized organ. So centella, strawberry, this type of plants growing, and while touching the soil, it is developed as a new plant. So the natural layering. The offset also, especially this is common in the water plants, pistia, the offsets also producing. The offset and the runner are the example for the natural layering plants. So this is also a specialized organ, but we can categorize the runner and the offset under the natural layering also. So these are some regarding the specialized organ. I think that's all about I have to teach you regarding the propagation. We studied cuttings, grafting, budding, layering, and specialized organ also. The part we have to cover is the tissue culture that will be taken up by the Sarjamis. So from the next lecture, Sarjamis will take the lectures. If you have any doubts or the queries, you can communicate through the batch rep, or you can call me. I can explain that. That's all about the plant propagation part, which I have to take. So cuttings, grafting, budding, layering, and specialized organ. The rest of the part tissue culture will be taken by the Sarja madam. So thank you. I uploaded most of the notes yesterday, except the layering and the specialized organ I have taught you today. So I will upload that also. Please go through and make the queries if you have any doubt. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.